Hello, welcome back to another episode of We're Talking About Pokemon today. Surprise! It's the first time we've done this. Okay, so let's just jump into it. I don't have any stupid things to say at the beginning. I'm just going to say them throughout the video. First of all, actually, yeah, I do want to say thank you guys. We got tons of likes. This is the first video I'm recording since we tried to get 2,000 likes. We blew it out of the park, so really appreciate y'all. I'm recording this before the top 5 Pokemon, I hope. Make it into Sword and Shield before that video goes live. So I haven't seen the response to that one yet, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Anyway, yes, let's just get into it. So basically, there was a new trailer today when I'm recording this, probably yesterday from when you're watching this, and it revealed 9 new Pokemon lines. So today I wanted to go through and just kind of talk about those Pokemon, their general viability and their place in the format, and yeah, just talk about what I think about them. So we're gonna go from best to worst. So we're just gonna start with the best Pokemon that was revealed, and that is right here, Pyukumuku. Just kidding, we're starting with the worst Pokemon first. I'm sorry, Pyukumuku. Pyukumuku is a Pokemon introduced last generation, Generation 7. Can you not, Pyukumuku? Whatever. Pyukumuku is a Pokemon introduced last generation, Generation 7. We're doing it live. Basically, it's pretty bad. It can't do any damage aside from Toxic, which is not super consistent. In terms of damage output, it doesn't. Its unique thing is that it gets the Inners Out ability, which says when it gets knocked out, it does damage equal to how much damage it had left before it got knocked out. But in doubles, in singles, actually, Pyukumuku might be okay. I know Gator took it a couple times in WBE, or maybe Gator and Envy. I feel like they both had it at some point in different drafts, and I feel like they might have done pretty well with it. It does get block, so it can do block, soak, toxic rest. I think that's what it normally does in singles. However, in doubles, it's a lot worse. It had some usage. I believe actually Joe Merrick, Sarah B. Joe, brought it to an international, but I might be wrong about that. Anyway, long story short, it's a pretty bad Pokemon because it has a symptom of many defensive Pokemon called "All My Friends Are Dead" syndrome, and it's quite unfortunate. It basically says that you can just ignore Pyukumuku whenever it's on the field and target the partners, and then when Pyukumuku is the only Pokemon left, then you can deal with it. So, not a very good Pokemon. Sorry, Pyukumuku. But it's doing its best. Next up, we have a similarly useless but slightly less useless Pokemon. Heck? Shuckle. Shuckle's a cool Pokemon. It's super defensive. It has some of the highest, maybe the highest defenses in the game. But very low base HP and very low offensive stats. Shuckle got the ability Contrary, which actually is pretty good. And there was actually a unique team in 2000. I can't remember if it was 2017 or 2018. I think it was actually 2018 that used Mimikyu Shuckle. And Mimikyu would set Trick Room. Shuckle's super slow. For Shuckle, a Shuckle would go for Z Power Trick. The Z Power Trick actually ignores Contrary, so it would boost its attack and switch its defense with its attack, and then you would have between +1 and +2 if it was Intimidated Shuckle, with a 300 attack set or something crazy before boosts, and it would just use Rock Slide. So Shuckle has some usage. In singles, it gets Sticky Webs, or it gets Sticky Webs regardless. Other than kind of a specific niche strategy with Shuckle, using Power Trick, and support generally, if you for some reason really wanted Sticky Webs, Shuckle's not a very good Pokemon at all. Again, it suffers from the same problems as Pyukumuku. It does have the ability to attack. It learns attacks but its attack stat is base 10 or something, or base 5. It's something ridiculously low, so it's very, 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 very weak. And so for the most part, it's going to suffer from All My Friends Are Dead syndrome as well. That's all I want to say about Shuckle. Next up, a Pokemon that's better in singles than doubles again. We have Drapion. I actually really like Drapion. I've always liked Drapion. I think it's a really cool Pokemon. Not traditionally thought of as very good. It can set Toxic Spikes. It has Knockoff. It has Poison Jab. And a couple other dark excuse me. Dark and Poison is actually not bad coverage, truth be told. It's actually pretty good cover. Or typing wise, defensively, it's pretty good because it's only weak to ground. And having only one weakness is generally a pretty good thing. However, Drapion really isn't very strong in general. It is very weak after Intimidate. You can do some stuff with it, you can run Swords Dance, you could run Toxic Spikes even in VGC. I'm sure it's not terrible. I'm sure if somebody wanted to, they could do okay with Drapion, but it's just really not a very good Pokemon in doubles. In singles, again, it's a lot better. Or it's at least a little bit better. I think Assault Vest also makes more sense in singles if you want to do something like that. It gets Whirlwinds, so that's something, but yeah, overall, really kind of a weak Pokemon, and not very good in the format with Intimidate. Number 4, or sorry, this is the 4th from the bottom. This is 6th overall. Number 6. Oh, I didn't change that one. Sorry. Let's make that more small. Here's Octillery. I know it might be controversial to have Octillery above Drapion, but there was a period where Octillery in 2014, nobody really knows about this, but in 2014, I know Ray was actually thinking Octillery could be good because it gets moody and it gets, specifically it's Water Spout. It's one of the few Water Spout users. Water Spout's not a very well distributed move. And for that reason, Octillery kind of has a niche. In that, yeah, in a format with less power overall, it can be a very scary Trick Room Water Spout user. I remember back then I think the plan was to pair it with Gothitelle, but 2014 had a Moongus, which is kind of a problem. But yeah, if you have Helping Hand Gothitelle or Fake Tears Gothitelle next to Octillery, it can be a little scary with Water Spout. And Heal Pulse on Gothitelle as well. So I think that was the theory back then, and for that reason I have Octillery at the 6th from the bottom. 5 Pokemon are above it that were revealed, but Octillery also gets pretty good coverage moves. It gets Flamethrower and I believe Fire Blast and Energy Ball. And Moody is an ability that you really never want to count out. Octillery is one of those Pokemon that, like, it doesn't have any big finishes, but it could. Like, it really doesn't have any big finishes because, like, it just hasn't had them, but I think that it has the potential to in certain formats, in a restricted form or in a limited format like 2019 is going to be. I think it has potential. So, oh yeah, Octillery gets Ice Beam as well. So really good coverage moves on that thing. So that's why I have Octillery there. I was really torn about, this is the 5th best Pokemon that was revealed in my opinion. Shiftry. Shiftry, maybe the reason why I have Shiftry above Octillery is because, so Shiftry gets Chlorophyll, which is a pretty powerful ability in the sun. It's one of the few, like, it's one of the better sun sweepers outside of, like, Venusaur, and it gets Fake Out. So it can do a couple things. It can function on teams that require Fake Out. It gets Explosion, actually. Let me just confirm that because as long as I think Explosion's a TM. I don't think it learns it by level up, but let's just go pull it up. Yeah, it's from a TM. It learns Explosion, so sorry. Is it a pre-evo move? Oh, it's actually, and it's also a yeah, so it does learn Explosion regardless. It's a pre-evolution move. So for that reason, like, Shiftry is one of those Pokemon where it can Fake Out, set up something, Fake Out, set up a partner, and if they try to deal with the partner, then it can explode. Yeah, Grass and Dark, you normally run with the Focus Sash. That's the main thing. It also, yeah, it has a lot of really cool stuff that it can do. It can do Swords Dance. It can do a couple other things that aren't amazing. But it actually, like, and with move tutors, it gets Knockoff, it actually gets Icy Wind, it gets Low Kick. These are all with move tutors, but again, like, it's kind of unclear how move tutors work. It also gets a couple niche things, like it can do Leaf Storm, it can do Nasty Plot, it can do Leaf Storm Power Swap. Beat Up is another one. So Beat Up plus Justify strategies are generally more viable in restricted or in limited formats than they are when there's better Pokemon around. So you could do stuff with Shiftry with, like, Scarf Beat Up with, like, next to a powerful Justified Pokemon, like Gigantamax Charizard, for example, because Charizard actually gets Justified, believe it or not. Right? Wait, no, it doesn't. Did I? Oh, no, sorry, that's totally wrong. Charizard gets Beat Up, it doesn't get Justified. I was like, that's not right, it gets Solar Power. Sorry, forgive me. Yeah. But yeah, overall, Shiftry's a cool Pokemon. Again, it's one of those ones that, like, never really got the chance to shine, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. It actually learns Hurricane as well, so you could probably run, like, Chlorophyll Special Sweeper with Nasty Plot, Leaf Storm, Hurricane, or Hurricane, Leaf Storm, Hidden Power, Fire. The problem with that is that, of course, Hurricane doesn't hit in the, it's not as effective in the sun. It's only 50% accurate, but with Gigantamax, or Gigamax, wait, is it Gigantamax or Gigantamax? Now I've confused myself. I don't even remember what the real one is. Regardless, Shiftry, I think, has some potential. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody makes a run with Shiftry, especially on a hyper-offensive team. Number 4, from the top, we have a personal favorite of mine, Mushara. I was actually trying to use Mushara this year in VGC. I thought it could be good. I had like a whole strategy because it can live Z-Dark Incineroar and +2 Xerneas after Intimidate on Incineroar. So I had some ideas for Mushara, but Mushara is a super bulky Trick Room setter. It gets Telepathy, which is really cool. Telepathy is one of the, like, a very cool kind of VGC specific ability. Not VGC specific, but you're not going to have much use for it outside of VGC in singles at least. But yeah, Mushara is like a super bulky Trick Room setter. I believe it actually learns Helping Hand naturally. Let me check that for you guys. Just make sure, because I'm almost positive it does, but let's just think, because basically, if it depends a lot on tutor, so, like, this is more speculation, but it does learn Helping Hand as an egg move. Yeah, so Mushara can do some really cool stuff. It gets Baton Pass and Healing Wish as well. Typically it's a Trick Room Pokemon, but it also gets moves like Thunder Wave. It also gets moves like Calm Mind, so it can be supportive in a number of ways. Helping Hand is a big deal, though. Helping Hand is a really big deal. It gets Yawn, it gets Imprison. Yeah, so it basically, there's a lot of cool stuff that it can do. It gets Recovery and Moonlight. So Mushara, for example, is a Pokemon that could pair really well with our number 2 Pokemon, I think. So we're not quite there yet. No, our number 3 Pokemon, actually. Yeah, let's just jump into it. Number 3 is Torkoal. So Torkoal pairs really well with Mushara, for example, because Mushara can set Trick Room, and it gets Helping Hand for Eruption, and also it gets Moonlight, so it can recover more HP in the sun. It also gets Synchronizing for Warren on Mushara, but yeah, that's probably not as relevant. Anyway, Torkoal. Torkoal's a Pokemon that it gets Drought and Eruption. So we were talking about Water Spout earlier. We're talking about Drought or Eruption now. It's very strong. Torkoal's mainly going to be functioning on Trick Room teams, although it doesn't have to. It can be used like I don't believe Lilligant is confirmed yet, but yeah, Lilligant is something that was like Lilligant Torkoal saw some use in 2017, which is really annoying, by the way. That was such a dumb strategy, in my opinion. But basically the way that it worked is Lilligant had Chlorophyll. It would, be very fast in Sun, and then it could use after you Eruption with Torkoal, or it could use Sleep Powder to incapacitate a Pokemon. So Torkoal can be used. It's generally used on hyper offensive teams or on Trick Room teams. So Torkoal's a Pokemon that's really good. It's mainly good depending on the partners you pair it with. Torkoal on its own, because its main strength is Eruption. It's really kind of like it relies on moving first somehow, or at least having the support to protect it while it uses its strong moves. Although some boosted Heat Wave is strong as well. Some boosted Overheat is very strong. Torkoal also gets some good coverage moves as well. So yeah, Torkoal's pretty good, and we have almost every weather user in the game now. I think we're just missing maybe Politoed. So that's another thing about Torkoal, is that the last time we had Torkoal, we didn't have Tyranitar, we didn't have I don't know if we had Hippowdon, but if we did, I don't know. We definitely didn't have Tyranitar, so, and it looks like weather's going to be bigger this year, so yeah, so we'll have to see with this one, basically. Number 2 on the list is a Pokemon I personally hate with a passion, but it's objectively probably number 2. Bisharp. I hate this thing. It's super annoying. Bisharp's main use is that it gets Defiant. Bisharp was really good in 2014. It's just a very good anti-intimidate Pokemon. Sajin Park, and actually maybe some others, but I believe Sajin was the one who popularized it, had like a really cool Bisharp Aerodactyl team where it was like Tailwind Aerodactyl and with Assurance Bisharp. It was a really cool team. Or maybe Skydrop. I forget exactly how it worked, but Bisharp is probably pretty good. It hasn't had that much usage in the last few years. But for the majority of its lifetime in VGC, it was a pretty scary Pokemon, and one that you had to respect, especially as Intimidate picks up. Got a decent speed stat. It's like towards the bottom, but like it's base 90, I think. It hits 134 max speed. No, base 70. Let's check that. I believe it's base 70. Yeah, base 70 speed stat. So it's like it outspeeds a lot of the Pokemon around there that aren't going to invest in speed. Like a lot of Pokemon in that range aren't going to go fast, but with Bisharp you definitely can. Normally runs a Focus Sash, gets priority with Sucker Punch, gets Iron Head, can get knockoff through Tutor. Knockoff is only a move tutor move, but again, it looks like we might have tutors in this game, so that's gonna potentially change the way that it plays. Yeah, Bisharp, I hate it. It's really annoying. I hate playing against it. It's very strong on offensive teams. Yeah, but that's all I have to say about it. And number 1, the best Pokemon revealed yesterday, Scrafty, my boy. I was actually talking about him in yesterday's video. I love Scrafty. I think he's amazing. I talked a lot about why I like Scrafty so much in the last video. He's very balanced, Intimidate and Fake Out user, good typing in a sense, very weak to Fairy, but very good Trick Room support Pokemon here. Arguably in a restricted format, one of the best Trick Room support, or limited format, limited decks. One of the best Trick Room support Pokemon you can get. So good coverage moves, kind of weak overall in terms of offense, but he's really here to be a support. So yeah, I'm really happy that Scrafty made it in. I obviously I love Scrafty, so maybe I'll get to use him a little bit this year. But yeah, Fake Out Intimidate is just very good. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know any other videos that you want me to cover. Again, let me know feedback in general. Really appreciate you all. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.